and I love the Sixth Sense or whatever it is.
The Fifth Element.
The Fifth
One
Element.
one of the best movies made by a rapist ever.
Yeah, one of the best movies made by a rapist ever. But
I can't get it to fit.
She did good on like fucking.
Wait, who's the rapist?
Luc Besson, the filmmaker.
Wait, really?
Oh, I think he's in jail in France.
Yo, Dizzy, what's up? Welcome back to the stream.
I gotta look that up.
We're gonna do our podcast episode today. Conspiracies.
He also lost a bunch of fucking money because he ripped off Escape from New York for what was that movie? Prison Escape
from LA.
No, literally, I can't remember. It's got Guy, what's his name? The Australian dude. But it's literally like it's the exact plot of Escape from New York.
Are you talking about the guy? It's not the Guy Ritchie movie, is it?
No, not Guy Ritchie, the actor.
Okay.
Listen, the only Australian dude I know is Hugh Jackman. That's an actor. And Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, nope. He was dismissed of rape. So, even in France, when you have a lot of money, you ain't going to jail.
Sounded pretty bad though. Lockout with Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce. That's what I was thinking of. Who did I say?
The Guy Fieri, I think.
I thought I said a Guy Pearce.
If you want to join the podcast, Spider Dude, you are welcome to. Absolutely. We actually have people chiming in today.
Oh, good. Wow, that's crazy.
Let's go ahead and just get this kicked off, guys. We're gonna do this new episode that we're trying this format. It's conspiracies. We all love them. We all got them. So we kind of want to throw conspiracy episodes out every once in a while, where we each pick our own favorite conspiracy and talk about it for that episode. So that's
what we thought was a conspiracy.
Or you know what?
They can be fake ones too. It's okay.
I'm very disappointed.
I wouldn't even say his conspiracy is a fake conspiracy. I'd say it's a subject in sociology because it kind of coincides with like the Slender Man.
All right. Well, we can talk. We'll wait. We'll wait until we get to my conspiracy.
I was so close to doing the one that the internet is nothing but dead people and bots.
Dude, I've never heard that, but I fucking love it.
I had forgotten about it. And then I saw it. I was looking on Wikipedia because I was doing another one, and I was looking on Wikipedia, and I was like, I remember this. And then like I started thinking, like, people still believe this? Like, people are on the internet all the time. What the fuck?
That actually would make a great future episode.
It would.
Today,
that would make a great movie.
Everyone's just a fucking bot. That's a Twilight Zone.
Doctor Who did it.
To get my head into the mindset of the conspirator, I am sitting here in my room, shirtless, and almost with a little tin cap on my head. So that way, when we bring you guys this content, I'm bringing it to you from the freshest source possible.
That's are you eating Cheetos too?
Oh, 100%. Flaming hot.
Of course, and Code Red to go with it.
Well, couldn't find Code Red, so I just got Mellow Yellow.
Mellow Yellow.
He's drinking Fago.
So, welcome to Crook and Murder, guys. Conspiracies, or the conspiracies of Crook and Murder. I'll be your host, Kenny Crook Irish Kirby. I am joined by my co-host Maxwell Murder and our special guest, Alex.
Howdy, everybody.
Max is going to take the lead with his first conspiracy, and I'm going to turn it right over to him.
All right, so I have a story to tell because I was going to do one that is my favorite that like I have been known about for decades, and it's something called Echelon, and it's something the NSA set up prior to Prism. If you know what Prism is, or if you don't, it's what Snowden sort of like blew the whistle on. But I ended up writing an entire outline, and I was like, man, this is boring.
I
Because,
love how you're giving away the future episode topics.
I mean, I might do this. I don't know, but I mention it because. So I was looking into Echelon and how it's just from the '60s on, it monitored all these communications. And I take my daughter to the International Spy Museum in Washington D.C., which is great. Everyone should go, by the way. And when you go, you get this. You get a mission, right? You get a car. You get a RFID card to go through the museum, and you get this undercover mission. And it's like a fun little puzzle to solve. So I get my card, and I get the mission, and my mission is to infiltrate a chocolate factory that has been infiltrated by anarchists who want to put chemicals in the chocolate.
Sounds like they want you to fucking infiltrate Willy Wonka.
Well, yeah. Well,
he sounds kind of suspicious now. Very sus.
All I could think was they must be monitoring me because I love chocolate and I love anarchism. This is a psyop.
This is how fucking okay. Hold on. this is how conspiracies are born. You're just like two intangible thoughts. You have connected them to something that makes no sense, and now you're like, it's a psyop.
Okay. Aside from the chocolate thing, you have to admit that it is a little weird that they wanted me to go undercover and infiltrate an anarchist terrorist group.
Actually, good sir, I'm going to say it's not. Simply because anarchy and spying go hand in hand.
No, I know. But when I pointed it out to my daughter, who's not at 9, she was like, "That's weird."
Now, I will say this. I highly suspect we're all being monitored simply because of the bullshit we talk about on this show.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So
I will say that I don't believe that the International Spy Museum has hooks into Echelon or Prism, but maybe they do. I don't know. Anyways, I changed gears and I decided to do something a little bit more fun.
To make the FBI happy?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times I've said Prism and Echelon already, they're already like monitoring us. Because that's how those systems work. But we'll get into that in another episode. We're going to talk about the moon landing and how it was bullshit.
It was filmed by Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah. And you know what? There's even some pictures online that are very obviously some guys in spacesuits playing golf on a soundstage.
Or a soundstage in space.
Well, nobody's that smart as far as I can tell. But I just thought I'd start off with some statistics.
Listen, I just want to throw this out there. If I landed on the moon, the very first thing I would fucking do is see how high I can hit a fucking golf ball off of it.
Okay, you got to think about who landed on the moon. These guys were pilots. They were naval aviators and Air Force test pilots. And if we know anything about military officers, they love golf.
Yeah, were they white? Did they wear fucking what's that, polos? Then they played golf.
I mean, they did some other things. They took some rocks and shit. Okay.
Alien rocks.
Or just rocks from Earth that are being passed off as moon rocks.
All right, let's hear your conspiracy.
Okay. I want to start with some opinion polls taken in various locations have shown that between 6 and 20% of Americans, 25% of Britons, and 28% of Russians surveyed believe the crewed landings were faked.
So hold on. Why the fuck do the Britons and the Russians fit into this? Like,
well, okay, so the Russians fit in. The Russians fit into the conspiracy. We'll get to that later. The Britons.
Can you cite that study? Because a quarter.
Yeah.
You said 25%.
20. Well, okay. Let me see what it says. I lost it. I went down to the citation and now I lost it. Hold on. Okay. This is interesting. The Fox Television News Network documentary "Conspiracy Theory: Did We Land on the Moon?" claimed the thing was faked, but let's see. It was between 6 and 20 uh,
6 and 20%.
Americans. Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
I don't know.
375 million.
This isn't recent. This was done in 2010 by NASA.
Oh my god!
Wow. So this isn't skewed.
Okay, so that's the fucking bias right there, fucking NASA fucks.
So
never a straight answer.
More.
Listen.
Never straight answers from the assholes.
Okay, listen. All right, I could poke a hole in your conspiracy theory right here. It was Putin. Putin was probably like, tell these American assholes
I don't
that
even
they
think
never
Putin
landed.
was like what? Fucking 9?
Don't deny the time traveling capabilities of Putin.
Well, that's
bear riding ass.
That's another conspiracy theory we'll do on another episode. We'll talk about some time travel and how Barack Obama and Putin were involved in a very special program.
What?
But anyways,
now I'm actually intrigued. No. Well, no. Okay, let's stick to one conspiracy.
Putin was 17.
Well, there you go. So Putin was like
he was in the KGB at that point. Duh.
He was dismantling America from the start. Like he wanted to thwart our hamburger minds, so he told everybody over here that we faked the moon landing.
Well, okay. So I just want to say that I don't know why Britons were even in that poll, but but Russians make sense because of the space race, and I actually believe if they polled Russians now, it'd be a much higher percentage.
Probably.
And Americans, unfortunately. But listen to this thing. This is interesting. So a lot of people believe that the moon landings were faked because of we couldn't really actually afford to send people to the moon, and 2, it was just too hard, and we needed to like beat the Russians there because they beat us to space. So we did it on a soundstage. That doesn't really take into account where all that money and engineering went, but
Pornhub.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting. In May 2023, a man named Dmitry Rogozin, former Director General of the Russian Space Agency, expressed his doubt that we landed on the moon.
No shit. A Russian said that? Color me fucking surprised.
A Russian former director of the Russian Space Agency.
Russian, look, we are constantly, ever since World War II ended, we have been in every sort of race with the Russians. So
not the space race though. After the fall of the USSR, we used to send people to space, and actually, especially after we stopped using the space shuttle, we used the Russian Soyuz program. So American and Russian astronauts have been cooperating for decades.
Now that I'll agree with.
Yeah. That is also if you believe that we have a space station in space and that there is space.
I don't look. It can't possibly happen because the Earth is flat
and hollow.
And hollow at the same time.
Yeah. Think about that one. Okay.
I heard that the oceans never end.
It said there's no bottom of the ocean.
So stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Wouldn't that be the same thing as the oceans never end?
Well, I guess that's sort of, you know what? The oceans never end. There's no bottom to the ocean. Kind of fits in with flat Earth because of the horizon.
I honestly can't get behind that because then SpongeBob wouldn't.
Well, SpongeBob is just more propaganda perpetrated by the ocean depths.
What, fucking Neptune?
Assholes. Okay, we're getting back to moons. All right. So what I thought I'd do for this was I went online and I found quite a few interesting things. Oh, there was one other statistic that it's not a statistic, it's actually a mathematical model put forth by a guy named James Lagunsky. He's not Russian, he's British. That a conspiracy this size would have to involve more than 400,000 people, because that's how many people worked on the Apollo project for nearly 10 years.
It's impossible that there's over 400,000 stupid people in America.
Well, no, these are the really smart people. These are the people that perpetrated the conspiracy. Okay.
Okay,
So,
also impossible.
yeah, I know. Okay, so there's a lot of hoax claims, and I thought I'd get into some. So one of the biggest ones is the photographic evidence and the quote unquote film oddities. If you look at some pictures from the Apollo moon landings, you'll notice that there's a crosshair on the camera. And it appears in some of these pictures that the crosshair is behind the object. How could that be?
Well.
We caught you, NASA.
I was gonna let you guys guess on this one, but it's actually pretty obvious. The quality of the film was pretty poor in 1969. So if you look at pictures like side by side and they're enhanced and stuff, or not even enhanced, just sort of like cleaned up, you can see that the crosshair is very obviously like on the front.
I would actually argue that the quality of cameras are still poor in 2023 because most UFO sightings look like a hot dog flying across the living room.
Ooh, same thing with Sasquatch.
And Sasquatch.
Yeah. Yes.
But can you tell me about why there's pictures with no stars in the background?
Actually, I can. Hold on. I have that in my notes.
If they were on the moon, there'd be stars, man.
Okay.
I'm expecting at least one George Clooney.
Yes. Okay. So
or Sam Rockwell.
There's multiple rebuttals to that. One is the astronauts were taking sort of like how do I put this? It was hard to actually sight stars, and actually, if you look at pictures of Earth from space, you don't see a lot of stars in the background. It's due to a few things. Light pollution depends on the quality of the film. It depends on the focal length of what you're taking a picture of. Because if you are taking pictures of the stars, you're using a very, very like high definition telescopic camera.
I'm standing outside right now, man, and I see stars.
Okay, if I go outside, I won't see shit.
Listen,
that's because you live in a shitty part of the country.
I do.
Go outside, listeners, and take a picture of the night sky, and this will immediately answer that question.
With your phone. Don't do it with like a DSLR that actually can see the Milky Way. Do it with your phone.
Yeah. And you'll get fucking nothing.
Yeah. So, and actually, if you go online and just check out some pictures of, say, like, again, if you just look at some like satellite pictures of Earth from space, like just looking at the curvature of the Earth, there's actually no stars in the background.
Yeah, that's because space doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, any stars that we see in the sky are angels.
Wow. A whole lot of them up there watching me.
Yeah. I mean, they're always watching me jerk off and giving me shit about it. Let's see. So the pictures are a big one, right? So, oh god, there's some sunspots that like people seem to think are lens flares that only can happen indoors. Especially people really want to pick on Buzz Aldrin a lot.
Oh, okay, hold on. I've seen J.J. Abrams films. Okay, lens flare happens on Tatooine.
It happens in Star Trek a lot too. You see a lot of lens. Yeah. When they say they call them quote unquote hot spots, they're not even lens flares. They're just like little dots. And actually, it's people have gone online and like passed the original photos through like ultraviolet filters, and like you can see little glowing things in the background, but it's because they used like ultraviolet filters so some shit's gonna glow like a spotlight effect. Also, this is my favorite. Who filmed Neil Armstrong stepping onto the moon?
Probably the other fucking astronaut.
No.
Why
He was
is
the
this
first,
so hard?
he was the first one on there. He was the first one on there.
What? Okay. What? So
Okay,
there was nobody else.
actually, there's a
they
really easy
built
answer to this.
they built a fucking thing on there. You're
Yeah.
telling me all those fucking hikers on YouTube and TikTok don't set up the camera beforehand and then fucking walk?
Okay,
You're
Alex,
telling me that those cameras just fucking naturally exist in the fucking middle of nowhere?
Listen,
My God.
Alex nailed it. There were cameras on the lander.
I'm pretty sure he pulled the fucking okay, so he was alone. There was no other astronaut. Then
Well, Buzz was on the lander with him, but he stepped out second.
why didn't he just fucking film it on his GoPro? Anyway, listen.
They were all wearing GoPros. That's another theory, is they were all wearing GoPros.
Okay. This is the Survivor Man. Okay, not
It's exactly like that, actually.
not Bear Grylls bullshit. Not
No, but
living in
less Stroud.
Stroud, like the real Survivor Man,
Oh yeah.
where he sets up the camera. I bet you anything, Lance Armstrong walked out, put the camera up, and then was like
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. Fucking hell,
Lance Armstrong was the doper.
Clearly, I'm not the one with the facts tonight. Neil Neil Armstrong clearly went out, set up the camera, and then filmed himself taking the first step on the moon.
Well,
I mean,
it's
is this really a night of facts, though? I mean,
it's not even that complicated. There is no footage of him stepping under the moon from the moon. There's footage of him stepping under the moon from the lander.
Wow. So
you overthought it. I mean,
you asked me the time. You asked me the time, and I told you how to build an atomic clock.
You did. Yeah, there was a 16mm movie camera on the window of the lunar module. So moving into moving away from the film, but sort of we're just sort of tangentially moving into it. Well, some people say that the environment of going to the moon, like the environment of just traveling from Earth to the moon, is so inhospitable to humans that we couldn't do it. That the exposure from the Van Allen radiation belt and galactic ambient radiation would make it impossible. Also, that radiation would cause the film to be what's the word? Milky, I want to say.
Yeah, like distorted in some way, like.
And I have some funny things about that, but
yeah, but I mean, this isn't the origin story of the Fantastic fucking Four. All right, NASA, for as much as it kind of like hides a bunch of shit, actually did manage to does secure its astronauts, minus Apollo 13.
Or actually, okay. Let's just Apollo 13 was an amazing feat of engineering to get those guys home. I love that movie, by the way. Because it's so true to life. The idea that you had hundreds of people, hundreds of engineers at mission control keeping these guys alive, and they got them home is crazy. With the computers that just did calculations.
Hey, I want to preface all of this and postface. I have studied none of this.
I love the Apollo missions. I know a ton about the Apollo missions. I know all about the moon landings. This was one of the reasons I picked this. I love NASA. I am a space geek.
So
I can tell you all about this shit. We have never lost a man in space. We've lost people on reentry, and during launch, we have never lost anyone in space.
Which shuttle exploded?
Well, there's two. There was Challenger and then
Challenger.
Discovery.
Yeah.
That's it. The Challenger.
Challenger's like the challenge. Which one's Discovery?
Discovery was the one that burned up on reentry because of strangely enough, the tiles that were on the bottom of the shuttle that were designed by the fundamentalist Mormons.
Now, I love space.
And I'm not even joking about that.
Challenger's the one that I'm thinking of because that was the first one, right? That was the big one.
That was in the 80s. That was the one that had the teacher on it.
Yeah.
It blew up during launch.
Yes. Okay.
Those are the launch and reentry are the two most dangerous parts of space travel, unless you were on Apollo 13 and you got hit by something.
Now, I love space and all of its stories. I just haven't really dived that deep. The moon landings, except for the other day, which is the reason why I am bringing up this very important question. How many times have we been to them?
We have, okay, so humans have stepped foot on the moon 6 times. That means 6 missions, 6 Apollo missions. It would have been 7 if Apollo 13 hadn't had to, well, I wouldn't say turn around because they technically orbited the moon. But yeah, so it's the 6 times. I want to say Apollo 11, Apollo 12, Apollo 14, Apollo 15, Apollo 16, Apollo 17, Apollo 18. Yep. And actually, here's a fun little fact. Apollo 18, you know how people talk about the moon rover?
Yeah.
Apollo 18 was the only one to include a moon rover.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hypothetical, right? Because we didn't actually land on the moon.
Yeah, no, it's true. Also, the moon rover was not an electric powered rover meant for the moon. It was a gasoline powered go-kart that we used in a soundstage.
So,
it's true.
Where was this soundstage located?
Houston, Texas. Or no, actually, there's some theories. Either Houston, Texas, where Mission Control is, or the Goddard Space Center in Maryland.
Well, I do know Apollo 11 was shot by Kubrick.
Yes.
After 2001 Space Odyssey came out, right?
Because he was so good at shooting space stuff.
They hired him, and that was done in New Mexico desert or Arizona?
Well, again, it depends on who you ask. Some people say it was done outside in the desert or in a hangar in Maryland or Texas.
Maryland, okay.
Yeah.
Why did they choose the 2 worst places in the country?
Well, I mean, actually, it's a great place to house a bunch of people working at NASA that need to live on a decent salary, but not a great salary, and have them close. Or it's a great place to house a bunch of producers and cameramen and actors.
Yep, this 100%.
So the whole going back to the radiation thing, bullshit. So we actually, even back then, we knew how to protect astronauts from energetic protons. And even though the Apollo missions and the lander and the LEM, the actual capsule that took them were in some places as thin as tinfoil. Actually, tinfoil can be pretty good, aluminum foil can be pretty good at blocking radiation, but you don't really need a big thick ass wall except to insulate in space, because space doesn't have any pressure to put on said tinfoil.
Do you think under pressure would still play in space?
I believe that they did play that on one of the Apollo missions.
This is a George Norrie question.
I know it is, and the answer is I believe. No, sorry, it wasn't under pressure. What's the other one by Bowie about an astronaut?
Dude, like pick one. There's,
Yeah.
there's
I
the
mean,
fucking Mars one.
They certainly played a lot of John Denver. But yeah. Okay, so
Starman. There's a
oh
starman
god,
waiting in the sky.
that's not even the one I was thinking about. But yes, they played that. I was thinking about ground control to Major Tom.
Oh, Major Tom. Oh yeah.
Okay, so uh, we've debunked the radiation. How about the film and the exposure of said film to radiation? How do you think they fixed that?
I mean, I'm gonna take a fucking shot in the dark here, but maybe just protecting it from radiation.
Oh my god, you're right.
I know. This is crazy though.
They were kept in metal canisters. Not unlike those. Do you remember when 35mm film came in those little black plastic canisters?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Tell me how old you are without telling me how old you are.
Well, okay. Anyways, remember when cameras weren't digital? Um, yeah.
There's simpler times back then. It was.
I'm gonna tell a funny story I know about film and space. So I have a friend, and I won't tell you who he is or she. Um, they worked for the CIA in their GIS department, which is one of the more like protected secret departments because they take pictures of the Earth from space. And we've been doing this since the 60s. But back in the 60s, they didn't have digital film or digital cameras, and they couldn't really send large amounts of data from a satellite to Earth. It was pretty much, little tiny transmissions. So spy satellites would take pictures, load film into canisters that were lead lined, gold insulated, and I think on the outside was like not chromium, another crazy ass metal, and they'd shoot them down to Earth from space, and we didn't lose a single one.
That's kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
I know. That's a little fact that I just love. I love that one.
I
But
mean,
anyways,
we literally have a probe in space sending us data every 22 hours. I don't think it's that like far fetched to believe that we landed on.
no, I mean, God, some of the stuff that people, I looked at some of this stuff, and some of it I just was like, I can't even say that. It's so stupid. Like the film canister thing, I almost didn't want to include, but it goes into the picture thing. It's just like, but the film would have been foggy and milky because of the radiation. We could have just put them in metal boxes.
Well, when it comes to things like this, using facts and reason is like the exact wrong way to go about it.
Yeah, that's true. Here's one that I also liked that it's just kind of stupid. The Apollo 16 crew could not have survived a large solar flare firing out when they were on their way to the moon. Would you like to know why that is bullshit?
Because we don't constantly get barraged by solar flares.
Yes, there was no solar flare during the flight of Apollo 16. There was one a little afterwards after they had returned from space.
Wouldn't that knock out like just consistent EMPs on the planet if we were constantly being attacked by solar flares?
Yeah. So, I mean, if we want to get into it, like the sun goes through lots of different phases. Sometimes there's lots of solar flares, sometimes there isn't. We get a solar flare every like 10 years or so right now that will knock out like, your cell phone and shit. But when I say the sun goes through phases, the sun is about 5 billion years old. So
would you say it's in its goth phase right now?
No, I'd actually say that it's in its teenage K-pop phase. Its goth phase will come.
Teenage K-pop phase.
Yeah.
Its goth phase will come right before it fucking implodes on itself.
That's exactly what happened.
Everything is death and darkness, and I'm too fucking happy and bright.
So after the sun starts to lose its sort of gravitational pull on its gases, it'll expand to burn up Earth and a lot of the rocky planets, and then it'll shrink down to a brown dwarf, and that'll be its goth phase.
You know what? I'm okay that it's in its K-pop phase. Like, at least it's not destroying the world.
It's fun and fancy free. Okay. This one. There's a couple of weird ones that have to do with moon dust. So, footprints in the moon dust were unexpectedly well preserved despite lack of moisture. Yeah. So moon dust has not been weathered like the Earth and has no sharp edges. This allows the dust particles to stick together in their shape. This theory is completely debunked. Moon dust is actually super fine. It's like talc. And even though there's no moisture on the moon, there's also no wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking dust. Why? Like, okay. Go on.
So here's another one that has to do with dust and craters. So some people like to really push this one. The lunar modules made no blast craters or any sign of dust scatter when they landed. So
okay, hold on. It's like, even if it landed in the dust here on Earth, it wouldn't make that. That's such a nullified point.
Actually, you're right. Okay, so to quote NASA, I'm just going to quote NASA. No crater should be expected. The 10,000-pound thrust descent propulsion system was throttled way far down for the moon landing because the moon doesn't have as much gravity as the Earth.
I know, we'd probably knock it off its orbit with 10,000.
Right, yeah. At landing, the engine thrust divided by the nozzle exit area was about 1.5 psi.
NASA destroys the moon with a fucking moon rover.
We did, one interesting thing is a couple of times when they didn't really need the lander to come back, they just shot it back at the moon to see what happened.
So it just shot like a fucking t-shirt cannon at the moon?
Yeah, and watched it blow up. But see, that's science, right? That's why I love NASA. It's like, well, we got this fucking useless thing kind of just orbiting the moon. Let's see what happens when we send it at full speed into the moon.
Let's just shotgun blast Wall-E at the moon and see what happens. Fuck it.
I mean, that's how I would approach. Okay, look, if I were a NASA engineer or a NASA scientist, I'd be like, well, we spent about $12 billion on this thing, but it's just doing nothing. Let's blow it up.
I mean, yeah, that's
yeah. That's what we would all do.
I would do the same thing.
Okay. I got this. Let's see. This one's this one's stupid. The second stage of the lunar rocket or the lunar module ascent stage, or both, made no visible flame. This is really kind of a complicated one to explain, but also very easy to explain. I won't say the types of fuel they used, but the types of fuel they used don't create a flame in space.
Okay, hold on. Don't you need oxygen to create a flame?
No, well, kind of. Okay, so the lunar modules used Aerosine 50.
Well, that's not entirely true. What are the fires that get larger with water?
Magnesium.
Is that what it is? Like grease fires, right? Like,
yeah, grease fires, thermite. Thermite will burn just through water, and actually pretty much almost anything, on Earth, it'll burn through concrete. What was I saying? Like flares that use what you call it will burn underwater. And yeah, grease fires will just spread because you throw water on them.
That's a survival tip for all you guys out there. If you need to burn something underwater, just grab a flare, whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
a flare, whatchamacallit.
And you're good.
Sound advice, Ken. Sound advice.
Then I woke up with a wet.
Okay, buddy, go get another one. Okay, sorry guys. Anyways, we used Aerosine 50, nitrogen teroxide, which is an oxidizer. Basically, to burn stuff like rocket fuel, it needs a fuel, an oxidizer which creates oxygen, and a nozzle, right? So the troxygen trioxide is the oxidizer for the propellant, and aerosine 50 is the fuel. So it creates the oxygen, but it doesn't necessarily create a flame. It actually, the propellants produce basically what it's a transparent exhaust. And some people also mentioned that the thrusters on the spacecraft used in the Apollo
Thruster.
yeah, no. Didn't produce a flame either, and that's also easily explained because they used oxygen. Like they didn't even use like it was pressurized oxygen they just used to shoot out of the thrusters. They didn't have a flame. They didn't have any sort of thing like that. It's actually why on Apollo 13, when the oxidizers and the oxygen canisters like were kind of leaking, it wasn't just that they couldn't get back because maybe they didn't have enough oxygen to breathe. They needed oxygen to maneuver, and they needed oxygen for the computers to work.
Wait, hold on. Let me put this into an analogy that our nerd listeners might be able to understand.
It's a water cannon.
Is this the concept of like in fucking Cowboy Bebop, where Spike's in space and he loads his gun and shoots to propel himself to his ship? Because the oxygen is in canisters and not exposed to the outside element?
Yeah, actually, no. You can shoot a bullet in space, in a vacuum.
Yeah, I looked it up one time. Pretty much right after that. I was
Yeah.
like, can that actually happen? And yeah, you can. As long as the oxygen is fucking isolated from the vacuum itself via a canister, you can propel yourself in space with that.
And again, it's not even the oxygen; it's the oxidizer. So like the gunpowder has an oxidizer, saltpeter, and it when it's ignited with the igniter, it just burns inside the round. And in space, that's like a perfect way to actually propel yourself backwards, because you don't really need, again, there's no pressure in space except for the song Under Pressure. So you don't really need a lot of like oomph.
All right, Max, we're gonna have to wrap it up here soon.
I got a couple more things I just want to talk about. Okay, some people are really stuck on the fact that like a lot of the plans and blueprints from Northrop Grumman and NASA are kind of missing, and there's only copies. I don't really need to explain that. Everyone can understand that tape backups deteriorate about 10 years after you write them, so it's a good thing they actually made copies on the microfilm. Oh god, I had one more. I had a good one. All right, this one I just thought was stupid. But the post-flight press conference, people point to this a lot. So during the post-flight press conference of Apollo 11, there were moments in which the astronauts appeared serious and tired in a press conference otherwise filled with laughter and levity. Conspiracy theory.
Continue. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this already sounds dumb as fuck.
I know. So there's some pictures of like Buzz and Neil kind of looking a little glum. And they really think that that's because they're upset because they faked it.
No, I think they're upset because they went to the fucking moon and it rocked, and now they're back here on shitty Earth.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get to the last part of that. That's part of it.
Although,
like, probably tired. Jesus Christ.
Like, yeah, how long was that trip? Like,
it was days of not sleeping.
Yeah, days of not sleeping, like, or sleeping for like 2 hours at a clip. Like,
it's
like, yeah. Of course, they're fucking tired.
This is maybe the dumbest one I read.
Look, fucking Buzz Aldrin and not Lance, Neil Armstrong are not fucking TikTokers. They don't
Neil
have to
Armstrong
appear.
did have both of his testicles throughout his entire life.
Fact.
Fact.
They're not. They don't have to appear happy for you. They're two people that went to the goddamn moon, and that should be enough.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna end this with, when I started doing this, I felt like I had to go and rewatch that video where an 80-year-old Buzz Aldrin knocks a man out
Yo,
of New York.
I
Have you seen
forgot
that?
about that.
Oh, it's so good. And it's amazing. This guy's probably like in his 30s, and he's been stalking Buzz for like years, and he finally figured out where he was staying in New York, and he just accosts him in the street. And like, I can't remember, I just watched it, I can't remember, but he says one thing that sets Buzz off, and Buzz just cold cocks him, and the dude is knocked to the like one hit, and the dude hits the ground, and he's like, I think it looks like he's got a concussion.
All right.
Again, you gotta remember who these guys were. Buzz Aldrin was a test pilot. He was a Navy man. His hands were huge. When I watched him punch that guy, I was like, damn, that guy's fist is as big as that dude's head. Like, he's not a pushover even at 80.
So I think a way to end each of our segments is we should choose individually whether or not we believe the conspiracy theory.
There was one other fact I wanted to say though.
Max,
Just last one. It's
you're
about
at
Buzz.
49 minutes.
Okay. Buzz I think he's dead now. But Buzz was a recovering alcoholic for almost 50 years.
Okay. Are you done?
That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
I
What
love
do you
you,
guys think?
brother.
I love you too.
Go ahead and how do you feel about the move or the moon landing?
Me?
Yeah.
100% faked. I mean, all of the evidence I just presented. I mean, why would Buzz get so angry? No.
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna give a serious answer there for a second. Holy fuck, that was good. Oh my god, talk about fucking comedic timing.
That was
Jesus
good.
Christ.
No, we fucking landed on the moon. What, like, all a bunch of advances that we rely on nowadays on our in our phones and our TVs are from that huge Herculean effort of engineering to get people on the moon. So yeah, we landed there.
All right. I will say 25-75. And here's my thoughts on it, right? Yes.
25 you believe or
No,
well,
no.
I need to know what the ratios are.
Yeah, me too.
75% of me believes that we landed on the moon because
I can't believe it's that low, but
Hold on.
continue.
Continue.
25% of me believes there is a possibility we didn't, and here is my reasoning behind that. Yes, I believe we landed simply because Buzz Aldrin punched that dude, and I do kind of like.
You're 75%. You're 75% of I believe we landed on the moon has to do with an 80-year-old man punching a dude in the face.
It's not like Buzz is going to the fucking Planet Fitness every day. Okay, it takes effort to knock someone out as an 80-year-old.
He does calisthenics like an old-fashioned man.
Yeah. So yes, it took him.
What
it
the
took
fuck
him
is you 25% based off of?
It pissed him off, man.
Here is my 25%. My 25% is during that time we were in a space race against like every other country on the planet,
Just
And-
Russians, really, but
and we had to show something that we were on top because America always has to show it has a bigger dick. So, do I believe we have people in space? Yes. Do I believe we touched the moon? Yes. Do I believe that there's a possibility that we didn't?
That Apollo 11 wasn't the first one.
first.
Yeah, that initially.
Okay. All right. I hate to agree with you, but yeah, okay. All right. I can kind of see where you're coming from on that one.
I have a counter to that, and that is that I actually think it's more likely that we've landed on the moon more than 6 times than it is that we didn't land on the moon.
Yes. Okay. That I 100% can believe. Fucking space Nazis, bro.
Yeah,
Although
man,
I guess
with
it would
dinosaurs.
I guess it would be space patriots, bro.
All right. So what's your stance, Alex?
Fucking Mel Gibson is space. Oh, it's 100% fake. It's 100% fake. It's 100%
Absolutely.
fake. I mean, come on, Stanley Kubrick, one of the greatest directors ever to live, ever. Yes, all of the signs and hints and clues he left in every single one goddamn of his movies just points to the fact that he was paid by the U.S. government to fucking fake that shit. And kind of what Ken just said, you know, we really didn't want the Russians to be the first, you know, even if it was just going to be a dog or a cat that went to the moon first
Yeah.
by them. We were like, we got to do this first.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, so there is a whole section on Wikipedia about the Kubrick claim. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it's way more likely that like we did land with Apollo 11, but like it's more likely that we've landed a lot more times and there's like a base there rather than the other way around.
I will say, just for clarity, I am not 100% that we didn't land on the moon. I am
Thank you,
100%.
Max.
I am 100% that we did land on
Yeah.
the moon.
Yeah.
Like I am full blown. Like we did that.
Okay.
'Cause
All right.
I just want to make sure that it's very clear.
Just
Yeah,
so you
I
guys
get it.
know, uh, these talks have swayed me. Okay, now I am 76% and
I
24%.
fucking hate you so
Oh
much.
my god. Oh my god.
Just to
What
spite
makes
you,
me-
Alex, I am
what
down to
makes me angry-
74
what-
and
no, look,
26.
listen. What makes me angry is that your 25% has a better argument than your 76%. You still haven't amended your 76%. It's still based off of an
You
80-year-old
know what?
man
It's
punching
fucking.
a dude.
It's 74 now. Okay, just to spite you, it's 74-26.
There's one thing about Kubrick I gotta say is that some people say that they leveraged him. He wasn't actually paid because his brother was a communist. He didn't have a brother who was the name of the brother that they used, Raoul
Doesn't
Kubrick,
exist.
doesn't exist.
Here's the best part about conspiracy theories. Lies. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Lies.
Throw all your facts out the window. Just throw them out. Okay. We don't need this physics. We don't need any of that. I got no facts to back this up. The
Okay.
reincarnation cycle. So I first heard about this through Lisa Barnett on Coast to Coast AM. Her
Oh, God.
concept
Her?
of yeah. No, but it's not her that I have an issue with, or that the conspiracy lies around. So she has this mentality that when we die, we get reincarnated, but we choose it, right? So, like, let's say tomorrow I die. What will happen is, like, I could get met by my friends and family or any dogs in the past that I treated nicely, and they could shuffle me to the afterworld. What happens next is we end up in a heaven or hell of our choosing because we create our own reality, right? So we bask in that for a while because it's our transition to the astral plane where we go from the physical bodies we're in to the spiritual bodies that we are. And essentially, eventually that dissipates as we begin to realize we have control over our surroundings and that we've always had control over reality. We get presented with our life review and we review it ourselves and judge ourselves because each time we reincarnate on the planet that we choose to do um, is a way for us to grow as spirits. Like, for instance, if we're just up there chilling in quote unquote heaven all the time, we never see bad. We never see suffering. We never see any of that. So we never grow as a character. So we choose to
So
come
she's a Buddhist.
kind of.
But she also may have watched the 1991 film Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep.
Yeah, well, that a lot of it's kind of like that. But basically, we choose to come back down to earth and grow again. You know, each time we choose to reincarnate, it's to
I guess that's not really the same thing as
It's not,
Buddhism,
yeah,
but
it's not
Yeah.
necessarily. There's no
Yeah.
karma involved in this. It's all just choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time we choose to come back, it's to reach a higher plane of understanding.
My God, who would choose to fucking live again?
Well,
I know, right?
I mean,
Fucking Jesus Christ.
it makes sense when
Oh,
you take
man.
a step back, right?
Okay.
So, hey, what's up, Jay Gazes? Shout out to Jay Gazes. He's a streamer on here on Twitch and also part of our podcast channel.
Hey, Gazes, put in the chat if you think we actually landed on the moon or not.
So, the belief is we choose to come back because otherwise we wouldn't experience suffering. And if we take a step back and
Yes,
look
because that's exactly what I want to do.
and look at the world and our life in an objective view, we can see that the whole fucking thing's a simulation. Time doesn't exist, and we actively choose to put ourselves through the trials and tribulations that we face.
Well, no, it just sounds like this bitch is a fucking existentialist.
Yeah, sounds like she read Nietzsche when she was 13, and then just
Nietzsche, fucking Camus.
No, it has
I mean,
nothing. This
take your
isn't
fucking
Nietzsche.
Harvard,
anything
take your
else.
fucking pick.
This isn't nihilism. It's not nothing matters, right?
Whoa,
It's,
whoa. Nietzsche is not nihilism,
God
buddy.
damn it. I am like 0 for 0 tonight.
Well, Alex is gonna. A lot of people do think Nietzsche was a nihilist, but he wasn't.
Yeah, if you think Nietzsche's, all of our audience out there, if you think Nietzsche was a nihilism, you're a fucking moron and go back
Yeah.
to school. All right,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Okay,
Forget
so
about reading him when you were 13. Read him now.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right.
if we come back, it is to reach a higher plane, right? Like there's things beyond the astral plane. The astral plane is just essentially the fourth dimension, but there's a fifth, there's a sixth, there's a seventh, and to get to those, we have to have a certain
What is
amount
this,
of
like the reverse of Dante's Hell?
essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Yeah.
I can actually get down with that.
Yeah.
To enter the higher planes, we have to have a certain degree of calm, a certain degree of understanding and empathy. The only things that we can fucking way that we can learn that is by being directly faced by it, and we're not faced by that in like the astral plane.
I
know?
can totally get down with the concept, right? Like the theme of that, 100%.
It's
Well, there's also-
actually it's
Yeah. There's some. Yeah.
it's my view of the afterlife. I truly believe that when we depart this world, we end up on the astral plane, and we're like we see each other as souls, and that's why, so essentially, we reincarnate with the same people over and over and over again. That's why people like Max or Alex are automatic friends of mine, and some people are just automatically like, I fucking hate you because we've been there, we've done that in past lives. You know?
All right, this is gonna be a little bit of a tangent. It's not gonna be a long tangent, but you should read Nietzsche if that's really what you believe. Nietzsche has nothing to do with nihilism or meaninglessness. He's actually quite the
No.
opposite. And what you're saying is very similar to some of the things he says.
Okay, you know what? I will check out Nietzsche. And
Check out the Nietzsche Meister.
Lisa Barnett, for
Ready
the
nachos.
record, didn't come up with this idea. I just got this idea from a Coast to Coast episode where she was talking about it. And I had to introduce that to introduce the conspiracy theory. This
Yes.
chick is Isabella A. Green, and
This is great.
her conspiracy theory is called the reincarnation cycle. Isabella looked at this and went, that makes too much fucking sense. They're trying to scam us.
They're trying to scam us. I have one question. Wait, is Lisa Barnett the investigative journalist?
No, she's like a spiritualist.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of someone else. Okay.
But essentially, both these people can astral jump. Think of one of them as Aslan and the other one as whoever the fuck opposes Aslan, the witch. So Isabella A. Green, I don't know what to think of her. The first time I heard her episode, I about called Max, and actually I tried to, because I was thinking about revolting against heaven. But
Yeah, I was in Wisconsin, so it's okay.
but the but the more I think about it, the less it makes any fucking sense. So Isabella A. Green, I'm just gonna call her Izzy, or Isabella, essentially believes
The
that
pissy witch.
she's
Sorry.
like,
It was really random.
That's
and
good. I liked it.
in her talks with George Norrie, she's just like, yeah, I can astral jump, and I've seen the entire astral plane, but really it's kind of boring, so I learned how to quantum leap. And I'm like, the fuck is this?
What?
Yeah.
It's fucking what's his name? What's his name?
Dracula?
Oh yes, thank you. I've just been watching Enterprise. Fucking
Yes,
Scott
with Scott
Bakula,
Bakula.
baby.
Oh man.
And so,
Whenever he was a woman was the best.
Oh man, I don't know the real good one. Sorry, Ken, but the real good one is when he was the one with the Down syndrome, and he looks
Oh,
in the
God.
fucking mirror. Dude, so good. Did
Oh.
not age well at all.
Oh, you can't make that now. You can't make that episode now.
dude, her, like, I re-listened to the episode today, and just to get ready for this, and it sounds
Quantum
kind of
leaps.
bitchy. She sounds like the fucking Karen of the universe.
The Karen.
Because
Oh,
he's like,
God.
oh, you can astral jump? Pff, that was so 1990s. I can quantum leap.
leap.
And
Oh
you know,
my god.
she claims there's this dome over the astral plane. And right from the get-go, she's like, yeah, they do that, but I don't know why. And here's why I think, after talking to all these fucking alien species all across the universe, because what she says is that she can quantum leap right next to the fucking source, aka God.
Sounds
Now,
like she's read Kurt Vonnegut too many times.
Yeah, I was just thinking that this is way out of a Vonnegut book.
Fucking Slaughterhouse Five.
Slaughterhouse Five. Is she unstuck in time?
Yeah. Like
When-
what the fuck, man?
when she gets to the source, it's the state of samadhi, right? It's the belief that everything is everything all at once, and you are
Oh, that
one
was
with the
such
universe.
a good movie.
So essentially, yeah, everything everywhere all at once. Now, she says from this position, she can go to anywhere. She can go to any planets. She can go, back to the Earth. And I'm sitting there thinking about this because after listening to this episode the first time and then reading her fucking book, I looked up her tickets to go see Isabella A. Green, and they run in the $2,000 range. So-
Holy good God.
You know what I'm thinking is how many seizures has she had in life?
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to ask, has she ever claimed to work for the CIA?
No.
Oh, okay.
But-
Because the CIA did have a program like this. They spent 20 years on it, and based on her claim, she would have been really good at it.
What is that what the movie
The
with
Men
Ian
Who Stare at
McGregor?
Goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's
Is
about.
that what you're talking about?
And it's
Yeah,
true.
okay.
Yeah, it's true. The CIA spent years and years and years putting analysts into hypnotic states to do remote viewing of Russia, and there's some published data that says it wasn't very successful, but there's some other data that says it was. So I don't know.
So, if she can quantum leap and her tickets are $2,000, I'm like, why doesn't she just fucking quantum leap her ass into Fort Knox, circa 1920, deposit some gold into the bank under her name, and then pull it out in 2030?
Yeah,
You
why
know-
did she play the stocks after 1920?
Yeah, I'm finding it harder and harder to believe her, because if she can quantum leap, and the concept is that we live in a simulation built to make us miserable, why the fuck doesn't she just go forward or backward in time and play the universe to her example? And if
Because
that-
she's moral and ethical and wants other people to be able to obtain the same powers of quantum
exactly.
leap that she's got.
Which
You know
would
what?
be
You know
which
that?
would, which
We need
would
to
be
teach that.
completely understandable if her tickets weren't $2,000 fucking dollars.
Hey, you know, she's gotta do yoga. She's gotta buy that Lululemon yoga gear that's like hundreds of dollars to Quantum Leap.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, she says she does
You
it every night.
imagine? Can you fucking imagine if time travel? If that was the key to time travel was fucking Lululemon? Can you fucking imagine? Oh my god, dude!
I need some compression pants to
Jesus
get to the
Christ!
best.
This
No.
ass needs to look fit in order to fucking jump. I gotta tingle my way to the future.
Exactly. Gotta giggle, baby. She's
You're
a giggle
missing.
master.
Look, just like Back to the Future, it's leaving out a key component of time travel, and that's the North Face jacket afterwards.
Yo.
Oh, what?
So Isabella,
That's a good one.
her belief is this, right? When we die, we end up, and this is kind of fucked up. We end up in the afterlife. We essentially get two tunnels, right? One tunnel is like the way out, and it's like aliens. And she said she quote unquote witnessed this while attending someone's death in fucking spirit. Which, hey, look, don't get me wrong. I can attend someone's death in spirit as well if I take about 10 hits of fucking acid. Now,
That's how the CIA did it too.
yeah.
Disclaimer: Crook and Murder do not recommend taking 10 hits of acid.
Not like two, like one or two.
Yeah, one or two tops. You'll be fine
Do
at
10.
that
That's
point.
crazy. Don't do a whole strip. It's crazy.
Maybe 5 if you really
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
off the deep end.
Yeah.
But essentially, she said while she was astral projecting herself to this person's death, she saw 2 tunnels opened up. One opened up like there was a white bright light, and the other one opened up. It was like this greenish tunnel. Aliens stepped out of that one, and angels stepped out of the white light. And the person woke up. The aliens looked nervous as if they were hoping to score this soul, and the angels looked laid back and cool. And the person
This
woke
is-
up and went, I'll go with the angels, and left through that tunnel.
This is like an amalgam of like so many movies, like Defending Your Life, fucking Contact. What was the one? Was that Contact? No. What was the one with what's her face where like her dad was an alien?
It's Contact.
Contact,
George Norrie literally says, so like Contact.
Yeah,
Because,
it sounds just like Contact.
because what happens is like when you're approaching the afterlife by what she calls the handlers, essentially they come up to you dressed in something you would recognize them in. If you believe in Christianity, they'll be angels. If you don't believe in Christianity, they'll be your fucking dad or mom.
What if I think angels all look like 1920s hard-boiled detectives in fedoras?
I'm gonna
I
think.
thought you were gonna say hard-boiled eggs. Not gonna lie.
Well, that would be better.
Honestly, I'm gonna think of angels as like a fucking Swedish bikini team. So that way when
Yeah.
I get greeted in the afterlife, I'm like fucking rolling in the Royces.
I really do think the angels all play beach volleyball.
Yes, definitely. so
I seen it when I quantum leaped.
she calls them handlers, and
Leapt.
the way it works is like karma actually works against you. You go into the afterlife, you go to your heaven if you were good, and that dissipates after like a bit. And that's like this, like it's exactly what you think it is. You know, the translucent plays music of the spears that you feel. It's a lot of it cross references with like Lisa Barnett's theory. Now,
Okay.
the hell is the lower vibrational plane, and that's where like fucking, serial killers or dickheads or people that are like just general assholes in life, they end up there for a bit. And when she described it, because George Norrie was like, "Can you describe hell to me?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's this dark place. Spirits harass and terrorize you, and there's mazes, and some people they just won't help you down there. They're all bad." And I'm
So
like,
it's Hellblazer and the movie The Maze.
or it sounds like a 1980s dark fantasy film with David Bowie. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that shit sounds badass. Like, can I end up in the lower vibrational plane? I want to go
Can I-
on an adventure with David Bowie.
Can I hang out with Willow?
Yeah, with Willa. This like, it actually sounds kind of cool. But
Isn't Willow a fucking fictional character?
Yeah, but that's so is David Bowie's a magician, but you know,
yeah, David Bowie from the Labyrinth. Willow
Yeah.
from Willow.
Willow.
Gotcha. Sorry, Who's the midget? Isn't the midget Willow?
God damn, that's Willow.
It's Willow. Willow's
That's-
bitchin'. Willow's a great movie, and they made a new one. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
All right, so after a while, though, you end up in the higher vibrational plane, aka heaven. Now, when you end up there, what happens is the handlers greet you and they sit you down and they basically, they life review you. And they go, look, right here, you fucking kicked over this person's soup that's like -10 karma. Right here, you know, poked a monkey in the eye that's like -5 karma. You beat your meat like 30 bajillion times. So that's, you know,
Why is masturbation bad? And
What?
also, why do people insist on believing that like when
It's all
people
those
die?
unborn babies, buddy.
It's the church.
All those
Oh.
The
unborn
church made
babies.
it bad.
No,
Like,
it's just like we have to believe that when we die, like bad people get bad things done to them, and good people get jerked off by, I don't know, someone who's dead.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not dead.
Ivanka Trump.
you know,
Ronald Reagan.
Yes, that's my heaven.
Getting jerked off by Ronald Reagan.
And I call him I call him Bonzo, and he jerks me off, and he's got a monkey. It's great.
I actually had this discussion with my friend the other day. I was like, you know, if Christianity is real and we all end up at the pearly gates, I'm like, we should definitely take the fucking, you know, class mentality of we all can't fail. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, listen, everybody here is not pious. There's nobody on
Yeah,
this
this
fucking
has got to be graded on a curve.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's got to be
You know what?
graded on a curve.
We could all just decide to rebel and protest, and when we get to see what's his face with his pearly white hair, you know, at the pearly gates, who greets us there? I don't know the New Testament.
You're-
You're
Saint Peter.
telling me Bundy
Saint
couldn't
Peter.
help himself, so he's here? Come on.
Yeah, no, so when we see
Gotta
Saint
be a
Peter,
curve.
we say, "Fuck you, Peter. We're going to purgatory until you let us all in."
Yeah.
It's like a anarchist collective protest. We all black block it.
I'm going to like straight up pull the lawyer approach and be like, listen, if everybody in your class failed, at some point you got to look at the teacher as opposed to the populace.
Yes,
You know, and
I think
And-
everyone should watch Good Omens. It's a really or read it. It's pretty good. When we get to the end of this, I just want to I'm gonna pastiche this whole thing together with movies and books.
so they review your life and going down all the, and by the way, it's because we were established by the Prudence. What are they called again?
Oh, the
Protestants.
do you mean the people who came on the Mayflower?
Yeah, the Quakers.
Yeah, Protestants. Yeah,
Like,
Not the
No,
Quakers.
not Quakers.
The fucking
Protestants.
how are we missing all this? The Puritans.
Puritans. Like, the Puritans were such an anal retentive fucking church that they got kicked out of the goddamn Catholic Church. Like,
Yeah.
England didn't want them. And they were like, you're way too uptight for this fucking country. And sent them to America. And that's why America has massive problems with fucking sex.
Even the Calvinist Dutch didn't want them. And
Yeah.
those guys are crazy.
God, yeah. Living in New England is not great, even in 2023, for
God, I bet.
various
Jesus.
reasons because of the Puritans.
I blame the massholes.
So the handlers look over your life and they essentially hit you for every karma thing that you've done, and then they go, you got to go back, and that's it. And
That's defending your life. That is the fucking plot to that fucking movie.
yeah, You can say no. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's what happens. That's what he does at the end. I'm gonna fucking spoil it. Fucking Albert Brooks falls in love with Meryl Streep, and at the end he's on a bus back to Earth, and she's on a bus to the next plane, and he fucking breaks out of the bus and gets on her bus.
So she said that there's like instances where she's talked to people who have had near death experiences, and they've gone up and they met the handlers, and the handlers were like, you got to go back, and they're like, fuck that, and the handlers are like, listen, we can make you rich, and he's like, nope. He's like, we can give you all these women. He's like, nope. And then like the guy
72
apparently,
virgins.
yeah, the guy apparently heard over the loudspeakers like, he's not falling for this. And they
Defending your
just
life. That they did that in Defending Your Life in 1991.
and the handlers disappeared, and then a very sweet sounding voice appeared, and he's like, "You must go back, child. Your time is not up." And since it sounded like God or Morgan Freeman, he decided to come back down to Earth, and that's according to Isabella uh, A. Green. That's how they get you. Is they
That's
find
how they get you.
they find your weak point, whether it be karma, whether it be Christianity, you didn't do good enough, whether it be your loved ones, like you promised that you would come back for them. You got to go back.
Oh my God.
So if
Hey,
you tell them no, they're gonna push at you like a used car salesman.
hey, guess who's had a near-death experience, and also my father.
So what happened when you had it?
Well, okay, so mine's a little bit metaphysical, but I will say that like there was no fucking tunnel, there was no fucking handlers, no judges. Uh, but I did have a very vivid experience of seeing what was happening to me from the ceiling of my bedroom.
Oh, so you just went to the astral plane? Pfft.
Uh,
So
I mean,
1990s, you should have
I mean,
quantum leaped.
I have theories that are actually based in quantum mechanics and thermodynamics as to why that happened. My father, who was dead for much longer, 18 minutes, don't remember shit.
Wait, what's your theory? Why it happened?
Oh, so okay, so in physics and sort of deeper physics, the idea that information or matter can't be destroyed, like nothing in the universe can actually just be obliterated, even things that go into black holes, which we actually now know we can actually measure what goes into black holes in bits, gigabytes, uh, and comes out in Hawking radiation. My theory is that we have so many, our brains are so complex, there's so many like electrical, there's shit going on in our brains, put it that way, that when we die, like it doesn't necessarily, like, our brains stop working, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the consciousness is gone. And my theory is that when we die, or it just kind of goes into the universe, and maybe that's
Have you
why.
ever seen the movie with Jason Segel? And fuck, what? I should have looked this up right
The
before I
Fright
brought
Night
it
with
up.
Michael J. Fox?
No. The Discovery. It's Jason
No,
Segel
I've never seen that.
and so it's not the greatest movie on the face. It's no fucking
Yeah.
crime, but it's got Robert Redford, Jason Segel in it, and everything. I would suggest that you watch that movie, Max.
Okay.
I think based off of what you're talking about, I think you would thoroughly enjoy that movie.
I'll check it out. I like that. No, that's my theory. Like, okay, so like whatever, it also comes back to like what everything that our brains see, like my eyes see, is my perception. So like if we break it down into like particles and subparticles and stuff, then it's science. But if we look at it from perception, a point of view of perception, then like maybe people do go to heaven. It's just physics, though.
Well, yeah, I believe that we create the reality that we,
Yeah.
you know,
Um.
and truthfully, the more and more we discover about the universe, the more and more I become firmly convinced that we're living in.
Yeah, but I think what Max is saying is it's not just perception creates the reality, right? I think
It's a little bit more than that, but
I
it's
think what he's saying is that the energy is actually put somewhere else, right?
yeah. So
Right?
it's
Like
yeah, the energy can't go anywhere, right? It stays in this universe. It's not like we go to another plane. It's that like the energy of our the synapses in our brain just
yeah,
kind
the
of
consciousness has its own matter that is then
yeah.
transferred to different, like our consciousness, for an analogy, just right, our consciousness is like ice, right? It's a solid.
Yeah.
And then when we die it becomes a vapor.
That's exactly right. That's actually exactly what I'm saying. So like
No, I mean, okay, yes, I can get behind that, but I don't think it necessarily stays on Earth or the
it doesn't
universe.
stay on Earth. I
No,
think it stays in
no,
the
yeah.
universe, but
Okay, all right.
I
I think it stays
truly,
in this universe. That's my thought, or the multiverse, but probably mostly like most likely the universe. Just again because based on sort of like the like second law of thermodynamics and entropy and stuff. Like if you think about something that has like lots of entropy, like our brains, right? It's not just going to go away immediately. It'll dissipate, but it'll
well,
take billions of years.
okay, based off something with no facts whatsoever behind it. I'm willing to bet that somehow we end up in a different dimension of some sort, whether that be the fourth dimension or above, like the astral plane.
So that's fine
Yeah.
I
and
agree.
can
I'm fine
still
with that too. Yeah.
that can still be within the universe because
Yeah.
as physical human beings we cannot perceive all dimensions within the universe.
You know what? That's fair. That's
That's yeah.
actually fair.
So this is also we're also forgetting that the universe is just a giant quantum computer that's trying to calculate the meaning of life.
Well, see, that's what I mean. Who's to
Well, yeah,
say?
and the
Who's to
meaning of
say?
life is 42. I mean, this
Exactly.
has been
Obviously.
solved, and I don't understand why nobody
I'm
will
sorry.
fucking.
The question to the meaning of life. That's what the computer's trying to
Look,
figure out.
if we're all just Matrix jacked into the fucking like universe,
Oh, I forgot what the question though. The question doesn't even add up to 42, which is
No, I
fucking
know.
beautiful.
It's like 20 times 2 or something.
it's very possible that we, as our own conscious, could potentially leave it.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the energy that we create here on the planet, I can see that staying behind 100%. In fact, I would say at the very least, reincarnation exists simply because our bodies break down into atoms and become something else.
Well, and even before that, we were all everything in our bodies and everything around us, everything on Earth used to be it's stardust. It's stellar material.
It's just
So
fucking
like,
dust in the wind, dude.
oh fuck yeah, it is. Man, that's my heaven. Is just listening to that song on repeat while getting jerked off by a monkey
By
and
Ronald
Ronald
Reagan.
Reagan. Yeah, the monkey's playing with my balls, and Reagan is playing with the shaft.
So, multiple planets do this reincarnation cycle, but apparently we're stuck in the trap because the handlers feed off the negative energy of us. So we come down here and we kick over each other's sandcastles and get sad, and they up there sit there and feed off that.
You know, sandcastles have a high amount of entropy.
Yeah.
Sorry. just wanted to throw that in there.
He claims the ceiling bubble on the astral plane, when you try to breach it, is kind of like a fucking jello-y substance that eventually stops you. But if you want
Sounds
to,
like a placenta, or maybe I don't know. Never mind.
if you want to know how to quantum leap, and bypass that dome, uh, if you buy Isabella's book, she
Mhm.
will flat out tell you in there, I'm not going to tell you how to quantum leap.
That bitch.
That bitch. So then you gotta
Wait, she
purchase
really?
the 2000.
She fucking charges $2,000 to be like, nah, I'm not
No,
gonna
this
tell
just
you.
this is just for the book. The book
This is
gets you
just the
to the
book.
seminar.
But if you get to the seminar for $2,000, you might get her to like give you a hand job. I don't know, or or teach you the
Get in
basics,
yoga pants? That's my question.
or teach you the basics of quantum leap. And I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. So she says to escape the handlers, here's what you have to do. As soon as you die, quantum leap the fuck out of there. That's it.
Obviously, duh.
Duh. And so guys, if
Duh.
you just do that, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get to the point where we decide if this is true or false?
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and yes, we will end it here. I think this is bullshit. I think it sounds like Isabella A. Green read a bunch of stuff, and she even told George Norrie right at the beginning of the interview. She's like, I don't know if this is true. Like she discounted her
$2,000, and she's like, I don't know if this is right.
she discounted her own theory right away.
Wow.
And I'm more inclined to believe like the actual reincarnation cycle. I think that if there are such things as handlers, and if we can't breach the fourth dimension, there's probably a fucking reason for that, and it's probably because we are not ready to get into the fifth. And what Isabella's trying to do is write the fucking cliff notes for the goddamn heaven.
Yeah.
Or what is it? The book for what's that series? The book for idiots.
Yeah, heaven for dummies.
Yeah, Heaven for Dummies, Reincarnation for Dummies.
The Idiot's Guide to Quantum Leaping.
Well, I will say that I 100% believe Isabella,
Oh, good.
and I think I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm both of your handler, so
Oh,
you,
shit.
You can handle me anytime, buddy.
you better test well, motherfuckers.
She's just gonna be like, well, I can send you back to Earth, and I could make you a star.
Listen, all right, Alex. I at the age of 4, I stole a snake in a department store, and it just snowballed from there. So I wouldn't have high
Wow.
hopes for me.
Man, you don't even want to know all the bad shit I've done.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna run through the pastiche of fiction that I have heard here. It starts with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, not the first book, the first book, and then the fifth book, where we find out that the Earth is just a big computer. The Matrix, a lot of stuff stolen from Defending Your Life, which is a terrible, terrible film, and I don't know why I remember so much about it, because I saw it when I was a kid. But it's a lot of shit from there. We even touched on Slaughterhouse 5. We've got some Nietzsche in there, Freddie Nachos. We've got some
Freddie Nachos. I love it.
You like that? We got. I can't take credit for it, but it's a good one. We got some. What was I gonna say? Oh, we've got some karma and Buddhism for dummies in there, and there's some stuff stolen from Madame Blavatsky in there too.
It really does seem like a way to sidestep the fucking be a good person problem, because
It really is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
she's like, well, now I don't
Which
have
is
to
why
be a
she's
good person.
charging $2,000 for a fucking seminar.
Jesus. I kind of, if I wasn't unemployed at the moment, and 2, if I had $2,000 just to like throw it at that, I might do it just to see. But that also could end up being kind of like going to see a David Icke speech and then finding out he's like really anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
one of them is like the fucking. One of them, of the 2 scenarios I gave you, one of them is the kind of, esoteric hippie, which is fine. I can actually get
Yeah.
behind that one.
Yeah, crystals. I love crystals.
And the other one is the Karen of the universe. I want to see your fucking manager. Let me go directly to God by using my special quantum leap powers.
I will pass jail and go directly through go.
Yeah, exactly. And these Lululemon yoga pants don't pay for themselves. For give me that $2,000.
All right, I think we can pass it off to Alex's conspiracy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have either of you or both of you eaten chicken?
all the time.
I fucking love
Ye-
chicken.
I'm Jewish, man. We eat
Turkey?
chicken all the time.
You eat turkey every November?
I love turkey.
I actually don't like turkey. I like to make a standing rib roast for Thanksgiving, but that's just me.
My God, you're disgusting.
I know, I really am.
Simon
But-
actually once made a turducken, which is turkey, duck, and chicken.
I make, of course he did. I make a good duck breast.
Well, I just want you to know all of those birds that you're eating, completely synthetic,
This is
made
bullshit.
by the one and only U.S. government.
Gas.
God, you know what? If only that were true.
Yeah,
we
for
could-
real
like,
though, right? Socialism,
So many
fucking
issues.
socialism
Oh
to
my
the
God.
fucking front, baby.
Oh God, if my fucking delicious duck breast was synthetic, it would eliminate so many hydrocarbons in the atmosphere. Why is this a conspiracy theory? This should be
Well-
fucking real.
Well,
Literally,
man,
this would solve a lot of problems.
Lucky for
like
you,
world hunger.
it is real because the CIA has exterminated billions of birds throughout the last, I don't know, 40 years. And yes, we are talking about the conspiracy theory birds are drones used as spyware for the fucking US government
So-
against its own population.
Okay,
Okay, so
right
we
off.
do use bird-like drones, but the theory here is that every single bird in the sky.
Every single bird.
Like, all right, hold on.
Every single bird. Birds have been extinct since 2001.
I
They
can
do
actually.
exist in the United States of America.
I'm not gonna put this past the CIA. I mean, they are a bunch of paranoid fucks.
Is this why Dick Cheney shot that guy while he was duck hunting because he couldn't shoot
Yo.
any ducks?
He discovered the
Dude,
truth.
probably. Yeah, that's probably what that meeting was about, right?
Oh my God!
So we got some classified information for you, Mr. Vice President.
There's no more
What
birds.
you're shooting at is actually a spy drone. What?
Solvent green isn't ducks.
All right, so the theory is, yes, that the CIA has replaced all birds via bioweapon engineered and was disseminated by B-52 bombers.
Does this
and
have
that's-
anything to do with HARP?
Dude, HARP? What's HARP?
Oh, high altitude atmospheric something something. It's actually a program that is real, but people it has to do with like contrails and people
Oh
who
yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
people who like
maybe.
to look at the sky.
Probably not, but we'll
Okay.
probably not. I will say no because we will get into that later. Because I was,
Okay, hold on. No.
pleasantly surprised, I guess, when I researched this.
Immediately, this is disproven because cats would have the fucking greatest day of their life if a shit ton of birds just fell from the sky.
Well,
but
no,
cats are
that's-
engineered by
no,
the
but
CIA.
yeah, the virus
It
engineered
gets deeper.
to kill the birds and
Steve.
disintegrate them within a short period of time to leave no evidence. No rock unturned here, buddy.
Wow, this is deep, man.
This gets fucking
Jesus.
it's gone.
So,
So
this is
continue with your
amazing.
questions. I got an answer for every single one of them.
Oh, I love it.
You know,
I have a question about this one real quick. So a long time ago, there was a website, back in the 90s that was like probably black on green, that had a quotient for if a conspiracy theory was viable, and it was basically how many pages you had to read till you got to the Jews did it. So is this like a 7-pager or like a 1-pager?
I will say one of the great and most ethical things about this conspiracy theory has nothing to do with Jews.
God, it might be true. Shit.
And
because
nothing
it's ethical.
in all of my
So-
research that I did in about 45 minutes yesterday, none of it has to do with Jews. Not a single one. And I want all of our listeners, I just want to say go to birdsaren'treal.com and you can find out the truth.
You know
about
what?
fucking
I
drones. buddy.
was
Don't mean
watching.
him.
I was watching a Red Dead Redemption 2 glitch video the other day, and this guy hogtied a dude. And you know how you can shoot your gun in the air in that game? Well, he got off his horse and shot his gun in the air to like scare the dude. And the next thing you hear is like squawk, and a fucking bird landed right next to him. So I think they've been indoctrinating us since Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
Well,
Man.
dude, for as much as I fucking hate Rockstar and whoever their parent company is that I
The
can't remember
CIA?
the name of.
CIA.
Yeah, the CIA. I do have to admit their fucking like AI systems in those games are fucking phenomenal.
Oh no,
I'm
Red Dead 2 kicks ass.
I'm buying this Say No to Bird Drones hoodie from birdsaren'treal.com.
There you go. Yeah, buddy. Feed
Yeah. Wow.
into it. So
Wow.
look,
They got
you all may be
headgear.
thinking, well, I eat chicken eggs. I eat quail
Yeah,
eggs if you're from
yeah.
other countries. All replicas made passable because the US government knew that if we were eating eggs that were fake, we wouldn't know it. Guts,
Hold on, what about Cadbury eggs? Did they fake those
Cadbury eggs
too?
are made of chocolate, so not the same thing.
So hold on,
sugar.
who
That's
drops
sugar.
those?
Well, the Easter Bunny, obviously.
So did they? Wait,
The Easter Bunny has obviously
What?
been fucking. He was kidnapped and captured by the U.S. government, or she. I don't know if the Easter Bunny is a he or she. They were captured by the fucking U.S. government, and 365 days of the year, 24 hours a day, just have to fucking shit eggs out.
Yo,
That's how you get
Josh.
your Cadbury eggs, buddy.
Josh just asked if we're on LSD.
To be honest with you, that sounds like a better fucking conspiracy theory than what I researched. Fucking Easter Bunny shitting out Cadbury eggs, buddy.
I wish I was on LSD. I'm looking at some of these videos on the birdsaren'treal.com website, and I gotta say that the movement representative that is depicted in their third video looks like he's high.
So
Yeah,
what-
dude,
homeless.
probably.
What you're
that's
telling
what's
me is
great. All right,
somewhere,
so-
somewhere in Britain, they have the Easter Bunny tied up in a fucking warehouse, and he's just
I'm Britain,
constantly
here in the
shitting out.
USA, motherfucker.
Who makes
You
the
think
Cadbury
US
eggs? This
think
is
the
it's
US is
literally
gonna
called
give up a
Cadbury.
fucking resource like that?
Hold on, I'm looking up where Cadbury eggs come from
Well,
because if
Cadbury
it comes,
is a British company, but I would say that
Yeah, it's only a British company to obfuscate the fact
yeah,
that the U.S. government has captured the fucking Easter Bunny.
it's GCHQ fucking with us.
But all right,
Cadbury cream eggs are produced by Cadbury UK in the United Kingdom and
So-
Cadbury
so-
Adams in Canada for some fucking
so
reason.
yeah,
Br-
it's just a front, man.
British bunnies lay chocolate eggs.
All right, but all right. The point of this is not to get onto the fucking conspiracy theory, the fucking Easter Bunny laying goddamn fucking chocolate
right.
fucking eggs
Yeah.
for a fucking U.S. government. All
Yeah.
right. What we're talking about are birds as drones, and the CIA and the U.S. government fucking surveilling everything that we do, right? So you got to change your thinking about what you think drones are, right? Drones, the U.S. government, I don't know how they got this technology, but it is fully synthetic, organic robots controlled by the government, which is why they bleed, they have guts, they have what appears to be muscles and eggs and meat that we can digest. It's all completely fabricated by the CIA
Oh
and
my
the U.S.
God.
government.
You know what? I don't care because if Popeyes is still making some badass chicken out of synthetic chicken meat,
Oh no, man!
I'll eat
I
it.
just ate Popeyes the other day, and I shat my brains out for the last 2 days.
Yeah,
So
that happens to me with
for me,
Popeyes too.
I think so.
you don't go to Taco Bell or Popeyes and not expect to shit your brains out.
But
That's true.
I will also say there have been studies done that 87% of bird poop that is shat in populated areas fall on people's cars. So I say to you, dear listeners, and my co-host, fucking, is it a form of liquidated tracking apparatus? I think it is.
Oh my God, you're right. Shit. Also,
Fucking-
This
Literally.
hoodie is
Hashtag
72.
Nielsen on fucking bird shit.
This hoodie is $72 and only comes in 3XL.
Oh yeah, they're totally money grabbers. They're not.
Yeah.
This is not an ethical thing at all. The
Who
real
made that?
conspiracy theory is this is a bunch of fucking goddamn young fucking 20-year-olds just trying to make money because they can't survive in the real world because God forbid fucking socialism and communism where everyone pays their fair share of fucking goddamn taxes and we all get fucking healthcare and education. All right. Anyways,
Wait.
conspiracy theory.
This is a
Who-
bitchin' shirt though.
who
I'm a
made that?
lie with a bird.
Who made that shirt? Isabella A. Green?
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Yeah, that $72 birds aren't real hoodie. That shit will probably fucking first time you put it through the washer will just fucking
Oh
fuck
yeah.
great.
Oh god, yeah.
But another important thing to know is that when you see birds that are lined up on fucking electrical wires, they're recharging. Has
Checks out.
nothing to do with
That's
yeah, has
totally
nothing to do with
totally
their hollow
reasonable.
bones. Yeah, has nothing to do with their hollow bones and their lightweight, not being able to actually put enough pressure on the electrical wires to cause them to fucking, be electrified. No,
Not even being grounded, really.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
technically, it's
nothing.
about making 2 points of contact. So, if they had sat on like the bottom electrical wire and then touched the top, they'd be fried to fried chicken stand.
But
Is that why flamingos stand on one leg?
I'm just gonna say yes.
yeah, me too. I have no reason to think otherwise.
Well, no, I'm thinking that it's a drone thing. Like they can't stand on both legs. They got to stand on one leg at a time for reasons.
For reasons.
Well,
I
I love.
recharge. That's the mechanical. Like
Oh,
that's one leg up. It
yeah.
moves here and it recharges.
Yeah.
It's like watches, right? It's like those
Yeah.
watches that you just wind by moving.
Or going downhill in an electrical car.
There
I
you go.
love
There you
how
go.
Max devolved from like this beautiful like explanation of physics and theories to the Palpatine theory of reasons.
All right. So this is going to be the shortest one out of all the conspiracies we talk about.
You know what? That's character progression. But go on.
Because
Yes, it is.
really what we're talking about is a movement that was developed by I forgot his name. Peter McIndoe. I don't know his name. But a very young kid who really wanted to make a statement about the post-truth kind of movement that we are in this country, and that's why conspiracy theories are so written and just all over the place. But how absurd can you make something and still have people believe it, right?
Oh. So it's just like the ocean thing.
It is just like the ocean.
It's just like
Which
some
is
people
why
are like, yeah.
I really love that you brought that up, like earlier, like when we
Yeah.
were in like the pre-episode, because it
Yeah.
really is just like the ocean thing. So he really is like the reason that he started this was to really show like how absurd can you get and still have people reasonably believe it.
Oh God, I hope so many people believe this.
So I don't have any data on how many people actually believe that birds are drones. I really don't. But like there is a danger, and I just want to say this: there is a danger in using this type of absurdity of like absurd
yeah.
humor to do things like this, because I will say that scientists are creating drones out of
They look like
taxidermy birds.
Yeah.
But they're literally made out of taxidermied birds. Like they are dead birds.
Yeah. But
Because
it's
they
a
have
it's a
Oh,
great idea.
yeah.
We should do that. That's it's a reason. That's one of the reasons the fucking like Ukraine is like actually pushing back against Russia because they're making all kinds of weird drones.
But well, yeah, and what I read is like this has a lot to do with like wildlife study and everything like that.
Yeah,
But
That too.
I mean, then how long does it take for fiction to become reality?
For like the
Before
government to step in and be like, "Oh, we could use that to spy on our people."
there really
no,
are
they love that
no-
shit.
Yeah, there really are no birds anymore.
Well, that's
So
kind
like,
of
are we actually already at that point? Is Peter actually right in his assessment?
I just looked him up. I do know who this guy is. I've seen him talk. Yeah, he is right. So, okay, just to kind of put some things into perspective, the flat Earth movement, right? Back in the day, God, it's the Flat Earth Society, right? So the Flat Earth Society started a long time ago with a bunch of fucking like wackos and idiots, but in the 90s and early 2000s, I knew a lot of like hackers and computer people who were a part of the Flat Earth Society as a joke. And the whole idea of arguing about the flat Earth was just to fucking fuck with people.
Yeah, and kill some time, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
entertainment.
the fact that it has become a real thing is insane.
I
So
mean,
like,
it's
birds aren't real. There's no floor to the ocean. Like, yeah, people are gonna believe this shit because
And
they're
there's a danger
idiots.
to that, right?
Yes,
There's a
I
America-
agree.
danger.
Agree.
I love absurdist humor. It
I do
like
too.
satire, right? I love satire. There is a place for satire, but at a certain point, which is why I mean QAnon has been proven to come out of satire.
Well,
I mean,
QAnon.
I don't know if I would call it satire truly, but
I mean, to
I
be
was gonna do
fair,
QAnon for this, but like I do know who those guys are, and it wasn't really satire. It was just bullshit. I also want to say that
it
Q
was just
clearance,
bullshit. Yeah.
yeah, Q clearance is done through the Department of Energy for nuclear stuff. It has nothing to do with actual like intelligence.
so all right. To be fair,
Wait, it does.
right?
Wait, is
No,
that where the Q comes
hey.
from? QAnon?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
it
my
is
God.
because this guy's supposed to have Q clearance. But I'll stop. Go
You
ahead,
guys are
Kirby.
killing me. All
Say
right,
it.
now I forgot my point.
Damn
Sorry.
it. Yeah, that's how I know this guy. Okay, he spoke at the Chaos Communications Congress. I know that I've been to those.
Okay, I got it. So America has a tendency to spiral shit out of control. Like
Well, we're also idiots.
we take it
Yeah, we are.
we take the football to the next level. And on top of that, these conspiracy theories, as we discussed in Tulpa, we make them our reality. I mean, we talk about fucking Slender Man, where everybody's like, there's this killer in the woods, there's this killer in the woods, and we all know it's a creepypasta. Everyone knows it's a creepypasta. Until it starts to spiral, and two girls in Illinois go, oh, he's talking to me, I need to stab my friend. And then suddenly we create the ghost that never existed.
Technically, it started as a photo contest on something awful, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and you know, I will say that the birds as drones was one of my favorite conspiracy theories. Like I knew it was fake. I didn't believe
yeah.
it. Good surprise. Fucking spoiler alert. But it was one of my favorite ones just because I find it. I think I'm smart enough, right? Which I think the majority of people are. You have the wit and you have the understanding to know, well, how absurd that actually is.
Oh yeah.
But that's one of the reasons it was my favorite things. But that's the beauty of kind of bringing this up last, which I got to thank you, Ken, for kind of saying this is going to go last, because it just kind of shows, it helps us to show, which we've been talking about this whole episode, is the absurdity in some of these conspiracy theories. I mean, maybe other than the moon landing, but that goes for another time.
Yeah.
But the absurdity of these fucking conspiracy theories, right? Like, yes, the government does shit without telling us. Yes, the government does sketchy shit. But, like, there's no way that the government in 1969, I believe, got away with faking the moon landing. That takes what you were saying, right? What would you say? 400,000?
400,000 people would have to be involved.
Takes way too many people to actually fucking keep that a secret.
Yeah.
The reincarnation thing is scam,
Well, it's
right?
not. It's
Some
not a
bitch trying to
secret.
make money.
I mean, everybody knows. It's become an actual conspiracy theory.
Well, it would cost more money to actually pay all these people to like lie than
Yeah.
it would to send people to the moon. Like for years, you'd have to just pay these people off.
Okay, counterpoint. This took place in like 1950, 1960s America, where the average American was far more patriotic than they are today. So the government could
Are you
have-
saying that Republicans are
I-
not patriots?
I would. I don't
Okay.
know what your definition of patriot is in that statement.
All right. They would be far more willing to trust the government because this is like almost pre going into MK Ultra trials.
Well-
We are on the cusp of the government turning the corner on us.
Dude, Ken, are you sure you don't want to flip your 75-25% ratio there? You
No,
sure it's
no,
not
no, no,
75% we didn't land on the moon landing, 25% maybe we did?
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is that the average populace back then, the government could have approached
Well,
certain
okay.
amounts of people and been like, "Hey, do this for your country because we need to beat Russia."
Okay, counterpoint. All of the people that would have worked on the moon landing and the astronauts who did land on the moon were World War II veterans, and I don't think that they would. I think that they would have more integrity
I
than
do too.
what you're saying.
You do not
do
know the
too.
boomer generation then, because San
No, it's not
Francisco,
boomers. This is the
San
greatest generation.
Francisco nearly burned down overnight on Freedom Day.
This is the greatest
I don't know,
generation.
man. You have one of the greatest authors to ever live in America write Catch 22.
Yeah,
And the
Right.
government tried to stamp that out.
yeah.
So they tried to ban that book. So I'm kind of with Max on this one, that I don't think someone would just go along with the government
I
for
actually,
something that large.
Someone who dropped on D-Day to fight for his country and fight for freedom. I think he'd have more integrity. Personally.
I do
but,
I do too.
But I don't. I think we look back at that time with rosy-eyed glasses when you hear a lot of the stories that happened from AKA World War II and post World War II on Victory Day. Like, America wasn't exactly its shiniest colors when the police turned a blind eye and the military started fucking raping and pillaging towns.
That's true.
I agree with that. I'm just saying that the people involved in the moon landing were of a certain caliber. Just what I'm saying.
Except you got the advent of advanced spying. You can guarantee the military during that time had a dossier on every single one of its participants, and they only had to look at certain ones and go, "Okay, he's going to work. He's going to work."
Well, I'm not saying that J. Edgar Hoover wasn't a bastard, but I'm just saying that
I can't believe
Yeah,
this
that
is the most
cross-dressing
divisive.
motherfucker couldn't even stand black people. What a fucking piece of shit.
I'm just
Oh,
watch Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks. It's an inspiring movie.
Fucking goddamn Jagger. Oh, hello there, dear. How are you doing?
know.
No, fuck the Negroes. No, motherfuckers.
We're gonna keep
Do
it
I
fun.
look good in
We're
my
gonna keep-
sundress?
You know,
Fucking
I think
piece
this
of
whole
There's-
civil rights
there
movement
goes
is
Alex's fucking
a
political
commie thing.
career.
I know. Well, yeah, we're taking that out of context, buddy.
Yeah, we're posting that all over Twitter tomorrow.
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay. No, it's because I do think Hoover was right to think that the civil rights movement was a communist plot. I don't think that. I really don't. But
in an episode of Conspiracy Theories where we got to be real careful about the jokes we make.
all right.
Look, I think the
there
government.
were a lot of Nazis involved in the space program too, but I don't want to talk about that.
Look, America has been very dubious ever since we started hiring Nazi scientists to build weapons for us.
America's been dubious since we caused a genocide of fucking Native Americans in the early 1800s. Are you fucking kidding me? I did war with the goddamn Nazis, bro.
Oh my god.
I don't want to disparage this great nation, but we've done some dubious things in the name of patriotism, in the name of manifest destiny, but it all comes out in the wash. I mean, 97 million people dead. What's that?
Spoken like a
look.
true CIA spook.
Look, I will say the U.S. there are a few other countries that I'd be willing to live in that I think are quote unquote more free. Yes. We can have this discussion. We can do these things that we're having right now and not
Yes.
And
jail
just
for
end
it.
up on an
And
FBI watch
that
list
is
for
an
the next 2
important
weeks.
thing,
Well,
right?
I've been on
So-
that watch list since I was 14. So.
Yeah, so it is an important thing to point out, right? That there is a level of discipline on the place of the government, I guess is the best way to put it. Like restraint, I guess, right? It is true. And we do have fair elections, although that should be one of the conspiracies we cover in one of our next episodes.
Uh,
But really hit home for some people.
That would endanger my security clearance. So.
So I think that is so there has been restraint, but it's to be one of those people to be like, nah, America's never done anything bad. We're the greatest country on the
No,
face
that's
of the planet.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, right? Because then
Yeah.
you can't actually become better if you can't fucking actually change to the goddamn objective criticism.
It's absolutely true.
So it's frustrating.
I know.
I
And
had this exact debate about Diablo about 40 times a week
Dude.
on the subreddits.
is Diablo a microcosm of the United States and the
Dude,
debate?
it's fucking
of
Blizzard
capitalism?
Activision capitalism. Yes, it is 100% a microcosm of the fucking United States.
And
Yeah.
we've got this lone voice of truth named Kenneth Kirby.
And the Blizzard fanboys are 100% the Democrat and Republican Party.
You know, we've got an election coming up, and I just want to say, don't vote.
Just don't vote. Yeah.
Just don't
Actually, fuck it. I'm kind
No,
of done supporting anything in this country.
You know, I'm going to quote one of my favorite thinkers, Emma Goldman. She didn't believe in voting. In fact, people think she wasn't a feminist because she wasn't backing the suffrage movement. But her point was, why are we stopping at voting? Shouldn't we be able to wear pants?
You know, honestly, here's something that's not a conspiracy theory. In the past 50 years, if 10 of the presidents come from the same fucking secret society in Harvard, you kind of got a fucking problem with your choices.
It's Yale technically, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that Yale is a lesser Ivy, and that's why our presidents have been so stupid.
This I can agree with.
Yeah, because they've been real fucking stupid.
Although, well, the one who didn't go to Yale, or no, did he? Oh, I don't know. Well, he went to University of Chicago first. Wasn't that stupid?
You talking about Brock?
Yeah,
Didn't he go to Harvard?
he went to Harvard, but he also went to University of Chicago. He
Yeah.
wasn't a Yaley.
Yeah, dude. Well, we all know just Yaleys just fucking rape people, right, Kavanaugh? Ha!
Oh, hey there.
All right, I think it may be time to wrap this up.
I know. I'm gonna go drop some acid so that I can think about everything we've talked about.
Alex, what's your take on this conspiracy theory? About birds.
The birds, they're all drones.
I'm gonna say, okay, I looked this guy up, and just the simple fact that he introduced this at the Chaos Communications Conference, I love this guy, even though I think what he's doing is a little dangerous.
Yeah, which is why I will have to say he apparently claims that he came up with this and started posting online about it in 2017. So I think he would be like 17 years old when he did it.
Yeah.
And he always meant to be as a joke. But to be honest with you, I don't think he actually meant to like do this. And then I think QAnon became what it was, and he was like, "Oh fuck, I gotta come out and I gotta say like, no, I was trying to prove a point, but I don't know if that's necessarily what he was trying to do as a fucking 17-year-old."
No, it wasn't. And I'll even say like I knew a lot of when QAnon first started coming out. I knew a lot of like hackers and guys on IRC that were like, "This is fucking hilarious. It's the best troll ever." That now would say, "Wow, we really fucked up."
It's dangerous, man.
It's super dangerous.
This is kind of and you know, I really believe, and I like maybe why you know I kind of like that we did this at the end because it kind of shows right that probably most likely these conspiracy theories started off as jokes,
Oh yeah.
word of mouth jokes, just people bullshitting to one another, and
Yeah.
they can spiral into very dangerous and you
Yeah.
know
Well, there's
Thanks,
also
Gruff the crime dog.
I heard something about a flat Earth, right? And that's that flat Earth didn't take off until smartphones became ubiquitous, and that I think the internet and again I like
communication.
yeah, and I think again the fact that this guy at 17 was smart enough to kind of come up with this, and then also was embedded enough in the hacker community to speak at the KS Communication Conference of 2018.
Yeah.
It the people back in the before smartphones, before the internet was so easy to use that you didn't need that you needed a computer and an internet connection rather than something you just had on your phone that you could watch YouTube on. It was simpler and it was more innocent and it was funny. Now you've put the power into the masses, and we found out that the masses have made the internet horrible.
The internet's like a double-edged sword for you.
Yeah, have fun, Elon Musk, with fucking X, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh my god.
I'll fucking say it right now.
Go back to sending shit into space. I'm done hearing about your
Dude.
bullshit on Twitter.
What's your take on the bird conspiracy then, Matt?
I would love it. This is the thing. When you first said it, okay, so it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit, but like, if all of the meat and like poultry we ate was synthetic, the world would be such a better place.
Yep.
So I wish it were true.
I think after hearing the moon landing, and you know, you guys have swayed me. I'm once again 76-24 for you, Alex, because Buzz Aldrin did punch that guy.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm kind of thinking that what really happened, right, is that we killed off all the birds and they were reincarnated by their own choices
Holy
as
shit.
these synthetic beings.
Oh my god.
I think that's a
Yes.
movie. Just waiting to happen.
Oh my god, that is a movie just waiting to happen.
Robo birds.
I'm pretty sure fucking it didn't already happen. Birds fucking from 1940 whatever.
Oh yeah, the what's his face's movie? Yeah, you know that was
Hitchcock.
yeah, that was shot in the town that I grew up in, Bodega.
So I think upon hearing your guys' thoughts on the spiraling out of control and becoming dangerous, I'm just gonna have to go with the side that Peter McIndoe is very clearly a CIA plant. Sit there to tell us the truth and at the same time confuse us enough to question the fact that it's an absurdist movement.
So this is just a tease for the next conspiracy episode that we do here on Conspiracies of Crook and Murder. But I will say that the next conspiracy I'm gonna do is we're gonna talk about Ayn Rand being a Russian whatever it is, Russian
Like a communist plant.
FBG, yeah, communist plant in America.
Oh, I love that one.
The birds are synthetic.
The birds are synthetic. I'm gonna be doing Echelon, and you guys are gonna be bored for an hour and a half.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because I don't want you all to go research it and ruin the episode ahead of time.
Oh, they will not be able to research Ayn Rand being.
I know. That's good. Maybe I'll just start. My segments from now on will be me reading, Sartre and Nietzsche and just boring the hell out of all of you.
energy vampire much?
Yes, I am a psychic vampire, as is laid out by Anton LaVey.
You know, sometimes I wonder if I am.
I'm gonna read that book again. I'm gonna go to bed, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
Same
go
here.
ahead and call it a night here, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Crook and Murder episode of Conspiracies. We will be back next week with the spirituality of dreams.
It's
We
just
will
not a conspiracy.
Yeah, and we'll actually touch a lot more upon the astral plane and how to get there without charging you $2,000 because all of these episodes are free.
Fuck
And
yeah, they are.
you can find them on all formats from Apple to YouTube to Spotify to even Twitch where they stay up for about a month or two. So go
Yeah.
check us out, YouTube or Crook Irish Studios. Check out our Spotify, we're Crook and Murder. You'll find these episodes as well as the Stone Gauntlet. And I want to do a big shout out to John Zara for allowing us to end the episode with Old Lang Syne.
Yeah. Everyone, go check out that video of Buzz Aldrin punching that guy. It is fucking hilarious.
It's pretty cool. It's about
Yeah.
as like great as when that Nazi got punched.
Oh, that was a good one too. Yeah. I wanna
Alex,
watch
you
that.
got anything to end with? I think the conspiracy theory is that Alex is now getting replaced. To
Oh
make
man,
sure.
he's muted, so I'm pretty sure that they've raided his house, and we're next, Kirby.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I forgot. I apologize. I'm back. Ha ha, motherfuckers.
This sounds
Um,
like a CIA thing. I'm
Yes, it
pretty
does.
sure he
If
got
I-
replaced.
Yeah.
If I got anything to say, I gotta say, people, think for yourselves and do the research. Definitely try to just read both sides of every argument and see what's most logical. Don't just read one side of something and be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Don't watch a YouTube video and think because a man sounds authoritative, he's right.
Yeah.
Or do no research and pay $2,000 because material things don't really matter anyways, and time is a lie, and this whole fucking thing is a holographic construct. So yeah, have fun with that.
All right, I'm gonna drop some acid. Later, guys.
See
Peace.
you. All right, guys, have a great night. From Crook and Murder. Alex, have you been watching? Wait, were you gonna say goodbye?
No, I was just gonna say, hey, I'm from special guest Alex, but if we're not live anymore, it doesn't matter.
Oh, we're still live. It's just like the end of this.
Wow, that was all right.
Jake just said we sound authoritative, and he's starting to believe us. I don't know what you got from that episode because that whole thing was just a rambling mess of beauty. I actually loved it.
It really was. Oh my god.
That was fun. Like I like doing the conspiracy one.
It sounds like crazy people talking about conspiracies, but it's crazy enough where you're like, I can't, like, they say they don't believe it, but are they saying that because they don't want to be judged? Like, what is going on there?
I know. I flip-flopped like 40 times on pretty much every subject other than the reincarnation one.
Oh man, yeah.
But have you watched Futurama?
Yeah, I've watched the new episodes.
Dude, they still got it.
Yeah, they do. It's definitely not as good as when it first came out, but I think so far it's better than the last season that they did.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm loving pretty much every episode.